know you probably do.
I do.
See, I'm an American. I get past the. I would say I'm registered Democrat as I did when I was 18, but I'm an American, so I look at the issues, and that's what my case.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So let me ask you this then, concerning issues. You're saying that Donald Trump needs to be in an orange jumpsuit. I'm asking you why, and you brought up issues. Okay, now can you name me one? Wait. As an officer, you know that you got to wait for the answer and see what they say. Let them, right? Okay. Now, I would ask you, what metric right now is worse off than when Trump got in? Unemployment is down. Black unemployment has never been better. We've got more. We got Hispanics at all time. We've got, for the first time in history, more jobs than there are job seekers. We have peace talks with North Korea. We're working on peace and meeting with Russia. So
grass is cut, right? If somebody comes in grooming, that don't mean they're the one that planted it. See, Trump is taking. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to come back. Trump is taking credit for a lot of stuff that was already in progress.
Oh, please. Obama didn't get over a 1.2 damn growth GDP in 8 years. And then, when he gets in now everything was Bush's fault when Obama first got in. And now all of a sudden. Sure, yeah. You try to clarify that for me.
I'll clarify for you right now. The significance for Obama for me was he was the first black president. But outside of that, Obama didn't do anything that made certain things so much. But I'm not expounding.
But again, what would put Trump in? Why all the hysteria over Trump?
The first black president, but not his politics. I didn't agree with a lot about it. I don't like liberal politics.
That shows some measure of like you're not a blind partisan. That's a good thing.
But I think people they get caught up in. We look like a lot of people, a lot of white people just like Obama because he was black, not because he wasn't a bad president. He had charisma.
Well, charisma isn't what we're looking for. What I want is someone who does a job. I don't want somebody up there that's going to be a good.
In the standpoint, when Trump got off, I said, well, we had to give it a change. I think he does a lot of buffoonery, but he acts like he's working for a private business. The difference between people working for Trump is when you're the president, you work for the people.
Well, what is he? He's fulfilling what the people put him in office for.
He doesn't take the people. You got to realize, Donald Trump.
He's fulfilling his promises.
3 million votes.
What?
He lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes. It's not like
it's apples and oranges. I can also argue with you, that because of the illegal votes that were cast, it cancels out that popular vote bullshit. Because indeed, I would ask you to do this. There's a woman who's an investigator, became probably the world-renowned expert in voter and election fraud. Now, she did this, if you remember, during the 2000 election and that debacle, how, the hanging chads and all that BS, right? Mm-hmm. And I was pissed that Bush stole that election. I truly believe that election was stolen from Bush. I think it was rigged. Now,
I don't agree with you because
the evidence points it out. We have no comprehensive voting system that works well for a reason.
In the Iraqi conflict and the mainstaying to stability, I actually voted for Bush that second time.
Okay. Again, we can go on and on about that too. But here's my point. The point being is now, at this time, right, we've got a president that's fulfilling the promises that he gave to the people that voted for him. In other words, we were looking for, because, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in law enforcement. You know better than I do about this. We have a two-tiered justice system. We see people in high places getting away with things that ordinary people normally go to jail for. Okay. Lock her up was not a campaign slogan. It was the anger that people feel from being in this two-tiered justice system. So seeing some accountability means something. It means something to you as a law enforcement man, because if people start disrespecting the law, they start disrespecting you.
Politics all the time. So I have to go out regardless of politics, we do that with people. When I come into a situation, so you're in a person just, if I can't discern, I'm not going to just take action on somebody just to take action. I can't discern, it's a fraud, so I'm not going to take action on anyone. I mean, if somebody, is obvious, somebody independent would say, yeah, I saw what happened, that guy pushed him and he defended himself.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got your set guidelines because you know what the law is. I mean, we could sit here and argue and get even heated argument, but that doesn't make it illegal unless, of course, it gets physical or there's a threat. Then you commit. So, but what we have now is the divide becoming so much because you always judge a person by their enemies. Correct? I mean, that's one of the factors you take in. Who's against this guy? If you got a crime, you go, well, who would frame this guy? Or who would, what motivation would be there? So, looking at it this way, Trump had his own party against him.
Actually,
he had,
and the politics is there. But once he started, his numbers started looking straight with, and everybody, they had to line up with him. But the only problem,
they haven't lined up with him yet. They're calling for his impeachment.
Right or wrong, they are so policy driven. They have no flexibility. But then I'll say this: you take the black community. I felt like the Democratic Party. I've come to age of 15. They're taking the black community for granted. See, I don't believe in creating programs for people to be dependent. I believe in creating programs to give people empowerment and to get them off the program.
Yes.
And then what happened, some of the people, they didn't do that, and they pulled like the welfare system. They pulled it from underneath people anyway. They put a limitation on it. You had generations, 2 generations that lived off of, and that's not
good. Couldn't agree with you more.
You're wasting human ability.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
the saddest story I have being out here? A little black kid comes up, about 9 years old. This is about a year ago. Smart kid, and he's hanging around and he's asking questions, and I'm doing the best I can to answer a 9-year-old right. He looks at me and he pops with this question. He goes, can a child get a check from the government? I go, why would you ask that question? He's because my best friend, his mama, told him to act stupid in school so we'd get more money. I'd get a check from the government. And I just thought, wow, what you just brought up, we're breeding people that are dependent on the system and the government not being able to empower themselves to actually go out there. They're exactly what you just said.
Yeah, well, and I've seen it firsthand.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. But what happens is, when we look at that, we start looking at only taking the population. That's not just it. What happens is sometimes it's more prevalent, but what we find out is you got white parents do the same thing to the kids. So they want to. You want to take a child. This is child to take care of you.
This is a societal thing for the elites to remain in control. That same people that are above the law are the same people that want to put us in that.
They have the mind to cure cancer, but if his mind don't develop, we'll never know because somebody has told him to limit himself so that they don't have to go to work.
And they do it through the destruction of the education system. They do it through the poison foods, the poison medicines that they give us, the drugs that infest the neighborhoods and the society, both, and the legal drugs too, because a lot of the stuff they get out of the pharmacy,
America, how do all these drugs to make all this money? We are a nation of drug addicts, where it's legal drugs or prescription drugs. And a lot of times people don't realize this. Some people give them placebo because the mind is the greater healer. But there's some things that you have to take a drug to knock something out. But a lot of the pharmaceutical companies they've found cures for things that they won't give out because they can't make any money.
They're in it for the profit. They don't care.
I mean, I'm not sure how old you are, but
I'm an old fart. I'm 71.
Before life, because you probably make good lifestyle choices. Not that we do. And the first thing you don't do is stress. You don't let anybody stress you out. Whether I agree with you or agree with you, stress it enhances anything that you have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some must be wrong on my DNA again. I seem to live off stress.
You get a little feisty,
and you got to have a different personality as a.
I can engage in an argument, and when I say argument, not unless I mean a fuss, but we can we can sit down, have a heated discussion. We don't hate because you like somebody that challenge your mind. The Bible says iron sharper than iron. So if your mind is so closed, because somebody don't look like you and they say something. I say this sometimes. I see the black hype
you can read some books by their cover.
That's an ugly ass house, and somebody white walking front house. That's an ugly house. Oh, they racist. That's not racist. It's an ugly house.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and you brought a good point. There are people now that have become too sensitive. Like, one of the reasons I'm out here is precisely what you brought up, to be able to have a dialogue with people that might not agree with you.
And it opens up. When you walk up and you say that, you have some people, you realize in certain countries, you have some people, some supporters, they might not approach me a certain way to somebody else, because what I'm going to do, I'm always really, I read the Roman action, the best way to ensure peace is to be ready for battle. So if you're ready, I'm not confident, I'm a peaceful person, but the peaceful, that comes inner. So around me, second police, I've been a police for 31 years, right? I don't put my hand on nobody unless I have probable cause. Okay, what they doing? Don't they not attacking anybody else?
Yeah.
How you doing? Whether they agree or they say something. Now, if you violate the law and you're talking to trash, then they ain't gonna help you. But at the end of the day, you're taking it personal. So, like I said, you invite a lot of commentary. Which,
oh yeah.
Because
I wanted.
But I've seen the Ernest jumpsuit, and I still look at her as she's somebody's wife. But I agree with her. Like my daughter gave me a good analogy. My daughter's a PhD in psychology. She said Hillary Clinton is like a lady you see on the elevator, hugs you, say how you doing, while she's going to human resources to get you fired.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's the analogy.
Yeah, here's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton for you.
Well, she won't go to jail.
You don't think so? Do you think she should go to jail?
My question: Do you think there was collusion with Russia for the election?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
So you think Mueller hasn't pulled up anything?
No. Look at. Did you?
Mueller studied his guy because he could. I think.
Did you listen to the Peter Strzok congressional testimony?
But I heard, and being an American, I heard Putin say some things that he put a spin on things. He said America does things to influence other people's elections, and now he says, and even when we were our guy, the government of the CIA has even had assassinations, they probably had hands in assassination. But my problem with Trump is he's disrespectful toward people, and I think his only issue, his greatest issue with me is he has to realize.
Give me an example.
Let me finish. You could agree with me, disagree with me. In his private business, he could walk up and say, "Oh, you're fired." But when you become the president, you're working for the people, and I think that he does not. That's not translated to him.
I think you're wrong there. I think you're wrong there. I sincerely, the reason I say that is because in the course of doing this, I've had the opportunity to speak to people that have had personal contact with Trump, done business with them, or otherwise in different ways, social or otherwise, have had personal contact with him. Probably as many as 24. I've talked to 2 of his Secret Service guys who also worked for the Clintons. And I asked them what was the difference, how does he treat you compared to the Clintons. I have not spoken to one single person yet. And like you have to go off of what people say, what their experience was. Did you see? Right. I have not spoke to one person yet that has had any dealings with Trump personally, one-on-one yet, that has a bad story about the guy. They all come out with something positive. How he went out of his way to do this, or he didn't have to do that. And just respect all the way. And then I get back to who his enemies are. His own party, the media, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, the Pope, and then we find out the Department of Justice was conspiring against him. And still he won. This speaks volumes to the people being able to see through the BS that these guys are trying to throw us about him, because he is threatening the deep state. I mean, when was the last president that came out and challenged it, even mentioned the deep state existed? Now it's in our lexicon.
I may disagree with you on some point. Well, one thing I use, I don't get caught up in my emotions. I don't get caught up.
Well, that's why you made sergeant.
My personal feeling. I look at the thing. What do you have to feel about that? Which I thought it was a moot point, and I still feel like Republicans are being complicit in dealing with this, because I think there's enough fact that was definitely Russian interference with the election.
Where?
It affected.
Well, then I bring up what Rosenstein said last week. When he came out and said, "I got 13 indictments against these Russians." In that statement, and this is as near as a quote as I can get, okay? We have found no Americans and nothing that we have found that the Russians did had any effect on the outcome of the election. That's as close to as a quote as I can get from Rosenstein himself. So in other words, nothing they have found in this $17 million, 18-month investigation so far has proven that anything the Russians did affected anything. They spent $5,000 on Facebook ads, and most of it was after the election, and a lot of it was done in Russian. So it defies credibility to think that 13 Russian bloggers that spent $5,000 on Facebook ads did anything to flip the election. I'll tell you what flipped the election. Being out here, I was speaking to people that had never voted before in their lives. 55 years old, never voted before in their lives, coming up to me and going, this is the first time I'm voting because finally we have a non-politician in there that's at least speaking the language. That's what put him over. That 50% of the people that gave up on our system forever, a long time ago, they came out of the woodwork and voted.
I beg to differ on that, but I think the next election, and if the Gospel Life and we're both here, I'll come back and hear this conversation. I think Trump loses in November.
Well, let's see what happens in November.
Well, but November, the thing about it is, the Democratic Party hasn't found a viable candidate.
Well, they come up with Cortez, the communist.
Well, I think Biden beats him if Biden.
Biden? The creepy Joe? Creepy Uncle Joe?
I don't get into the...
Come on, you're reaching into the crypt here. How old is he going to be? 76?
George Bush was...
Where's the new ideas from the Democrats? We're going to go,
I thought George Bush was kind of goofy, but I still respect him as president, so I don't get into the game call.
You see, where I would... let me... Here. I would ask you, and I beg you, to go ahead and get a copy of this book and read it. This is an excellent history.
Hey, I agree with you, but it's not out of mind. It's not going to come from the top. Out of mind is going to come from the fact that our young people are more materialistic. They're not into. They're into shock politics. If something happens,
attention span is everything's been destroyed.
And that's the whole America.
We get back to the
whole
education.
American ADHD, if you want to use that term.
Exactly.
Everybody's not paying attention to
again.
Attention, and they're only going to address it right then. Just like I remember when we had being a police officer, actually having been in crime there. I told my daughter when say the Michael Brown murder happened. I said, "What is this?" I said, "All evidence. One lie starts off one thing, and from all the evidence that's there, the officer should have used better tact, but the shooting is not a bad shooting. But you take this to the Baton Rouge officer, it was even less of a bad shooting. They were on the verbiage, but the guy was emphasized to the guy to give up. Now, had he shot in the head, it'd have been even worse.
Well, but this is and here's another because this is a bad time to be a good cop because the cops are being villainized. You're being made the part of the problem. But where is that coming from?
But that's the generation that resents authority.
But mostly from the left. You don't see the right.
Police officers represent a supreme authority, so we anti anything that says authority. But think about it. God bless our souls, because we'll be gone. You're old. I'm 53 years old, and America's gonna have, like you said, it's gonna complete chaos in America. Because the kids have no appreciation for tradition. They have no appreciation for guy here says, "Oh, your parents did that." But if you got to this point, and you hear your parents did something right, because even if you're a black person, however you go, and your grandfather was beaten, and slavery in sense was wrong, but if your grandfather survived, you're here because you survived. Because anybody in your lineage that died before you got here, you wouldn't be here to have this conversation. I tell you. So, we live in an era where people say, I wouldn't have put up with this. Well, if you're somewhere and that's what all you have to do at the time, well, some things are wrong.
Be careful. Put that someplace where the sweat won't get to it, because that bleeds. I don't want it to bleed on your...
Hold on 1 second, baby. I'll call you right back. When I see you get around, I'm going to give us this so you get out of jail for you.
Yeah, be careful. I'll sweat into your. That'll sweat into your shirt.
Being different, you don't have to agree with people. but you got to appreciate people being different, and people are going to have different opinions.
Well, that's why I'm out here.
I don't get bent out of shape because somebody don't agree with what I say. Because if your point is valid, you can make that point. Now, what happens is a person is valid, and you said earlier about when you're talking about the economy. A lot of the things that Clinton did, that not Clinton, that
Obama.
That not so much Obama, but a lot of the things took root from the Obama's administration. And we're saying, Clinton.
But then Trump square this. When Obama said this, those jobs ain't coming back, folks. Those jobs that Trump said he's going to bring back, they ain't coming back. What's he got? A magic wand? Is he going to bring them back? Well, apparently Trump had a magic wand because they're back. So you had Obama saying they were never going to come back.
We need jobs where people can take care of their families.
Yes, and I'm talking. There's the crane operators here, right? $150 an hour. They can't find enough young guys to come in and take the jobs.
And that's what you're right about. I had a guy say he hired guys to go. He would hire guys to go in the field and work. He writes in cursive. He said, "You got generation of kids can't read cursive writing."
Right.
What did that happen? We grew up in school. We took pride in your penmanship.
It's summertime right now because I'm talking to a lot of teachers, right? Well, this is what I heard from one the other day. One, all the money is going. They have 4 bathrooms they have to contend with, 5 different languages. 50% of the kids are parentless, living with their grandparents or whatever. The kids are on drugs. So you got 50% of the kids right there alone that you just wipe out of society that aren't going to be able to fill out a job form. Who's going to take care of them?
But in America, your complaints are going to be heard. You're not going to have nobody. This generation of kids have such self-feeling. You're a policeman, you cannot have self-feeling because you're going to stay on your job, but somebody, the mayor's going to see the TV and says everything against you because it's politically expedient. That's what Landrieu did. Landrieu ripped the police department apart, and then what he does, he gives us this pay raise that's going to carry over to the next administration's budget. But he ringed Cantrell before she even got started. The police department is $7 million over budget, and we halfway through the year. That wasn't a fault. Just like a lot of times, I'll give you the monument. I was a nay. I'll be like the angel. You say you're for against me. My answer is me. It's not neither. But a lot of the kids you represent because they don't study history. They don't know who those people were. They just research. They ain't the white collar, so a lot of them passed and never looked up and seen.
50% of these people couldn't tell you the 3 branches of government right now. That's sad.
Right.
That's sad. You know who I know run into out here knows more about the government than the citizens? The naturalized citizens, the ones that came over here and got their citizenship because they had to learn something before they got their citizenship.
It's nice talking to you.
Oh, Officer Williams, it is a pleasure. Thank you very much for that.
We'll come back and talk out of the election. I'm
Yeah, man. Let's see what happens after November. I think we're going to see.
What should this thing with Hillary?
The woman that has got a long history of crime that she's never. That's why lock her up was so important. Let me tell you the worst story I've ever heard about the Clintons. Because we're close enough to Arkansas. We get a lot of Arkansas people here. This is about 3-4 weeks ago. It was more like 2 months ago. Anyway, who cares? It was a fireman, and his wife was a nurse who works for a doctor. This is what she told me. The doctor's wife was raped by Bill Clinton in the next room while 2 state troopers kept him from rescuing her. Now, she wouldn't allow me to repeat that story to anybody. She wouldn't allow me to put it on video. She wouldn't let me anything. She was that scared. She says she works for a doctor. That's the worst I've ever heard. But I've heard others, coming close to bad about this guy. People that would not, would say, I would not go on record with what they told me. So no, and then just the 33,000 emails that she had that should have been, under subpoena, she destroyed. What? Come on. No, there's a That's what I say. Lock her up wasn't just a campaign slogan. And it's just her. She's just a symbol. We're looking at a whole host of them that are committing crimes. Look, I mean, Holder is Attorney General, Fast and Furious, shipping guns to the drug cartels, and then telling us, oh, it was a sting operation.
They came down here and robbed the citizens of New Orleans with the That's the thing. We didn't need to be in this. We need to change some things. But the problem with them is, Holder comes down here, they make these blanket statements. Some of these things. I'm a police officer. I'm a New Orleans. I engage anybody. Probably conversation. But I know that my job is to help people. And some of the things that they said that officers were doing, I've never seen. We got a slew of gay officers. I've never seen police officers. Then they took out detail thing. It was a free market thing, and they changed that. That I agree with you. That Justice Department under Clinton, I wouldn't piss on him when he was on fire. You might have mentioned Holder is running for president.
Sure. Good luck. I mean, you would think I was the only Attorney General to be under contempt of Congress. How do you even justify that? That's why I say that's one of the things that put Trump in. People are sick of this, because it's going to disrespect you in the long run. It comes down to you. The people on the street are going, why do I have to obey the laws when they,
all the time. They have the independent monitors. So one I was in the first district for a while. He tried to ride with me one night. He couldn't. I got busy. So I was out. Now I'm out in the 7th. He wanted to ride with me. But when he got in that car, he got an earful. I say this consent decree is one of the biggest drop the pigeon schemes I've ever seen in my life. They're going to tell me all this change, and then when y'all get rid of give New Orleans a bag, so make this change, you open the bag and shit gonna be in there. That's just how I look at it. Because it was a waste of time, with our society, we could have used that money, better use that money in making some lawyers, Washington, D.C. lawyers rich.
Of course. All right, brother. Pleasure.